Stadium last night was that Colt Brennan suffered a grade 3 concussion, but that later changed. With 10:46 remaining in the game, Colt began to scramble outside the pocket, only to be leveled by 6'2", 200-pound Fresno State linebacker Marcus Wiley. Brennan laid on the ground for just under 5 minutes and moments later was officially diagnosed with a mild concussion, which could lead to the Hawaii QB being available next week against Nevada.
He's fine. You play football, you have concussions, but he's fine.
You're gonna have him for next game?
Yeah.
That's what Brennan said last night when we caught up with him leaving the Aloha Stadium. Today, Colt says he's looking forward to getting back on the field for this Friday's game in Nevada. As for his condition, Brennan is listed as day-to-day. Coming up later in sports, I'll have a full recap of last night's game as well as the latest BCS rankings for the Warriors. Mike Cherry, KGMB 9 News.
All right, thank you, Mike. And 48,000 people witnessed Brennan's jarring tackle and the anxious minutes that followed. But how serious was his concussion? KGMB 9 Tina Chow spoke with some doctors today and joins us with more.
Stacey, doctors say once you get a concussion, you're more susceptible to them, and the recovery time is different with each patient. Noise and excitement during UH's game against Fresno State yesterday came to a halt in the fourth quarter when UH quarterback Colt Brennan was hit hard and suffered a concussion. The American Academy of Neurology lists 3 grades for a concussion. Grade 1 is the mildest and most common form. It's when the person suffers confusion for less than 15 minutes. Grade 2 is when the symptoms last for more than 15 minutes. Grade 3 is the most serious.
To be a grade 3, you have to have a loss of consciousness.
Coach June Jones confirms that is what happened, that Brennan lost consciousness before he hit the ground.
Brennan is hurt. He is not getting up.
He lay face down and motionless as trainers from both teams rushed to his side. We spoke with Dr. Kurt Edwards on the phone. He's not treating Brennan, but explains the severity of a grade 3 concussion.
When we're talking about the grades of concussion, it's important that all high school coaches be aware that the current guidelines of 1, 2, and 3 are important to understand, because a grade 3 concussion with a loss of consciousness does require evaluation by a physician.
We spoke with another physician. Albert Lin is also not Brennan's doctor, but sheds light on what the quarterback may be facing during his recovery process.
A loss of consciousness is not definitely a bad prognostic indicator. What it really means is that you just have to observe them carefully and see the after effects.
The Warriors play in Reno on Friday. Some have questioned what the higher altitude might do in light of Brennan's concussion, but doctors we spoke with today say the altitude has no effect on the injury. Tina Chow, KGMB 9 News.
All right, thank you.
As loud as Hawaii fans have been this year for the undefeated Warrior football team, the hit Colt Brennan took in last night's game left a silence over Aloha Stadium that said more than any amount of cheering could have. In an instant, what was just another game in a dream season
Now he's going to try and run.
quickly became a nightmare moment for the Warrior football team. With just over 10 minutes left to play in their game against Fresno State, Bulldog linebacker Marcus Wiley almost single-handedly changed the future of Hawaii's season with a lethal but legal blow against Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan.
Well, I mean, I was on the field. I actually seen the hit, so I was, I knew that as soon as dude hit him and, Colt went down, I knew it wasn't good. And anybody see one of your family members go down like that, you forget about everything else. Your main goal is just, is he all right? For that split second, you don't even worry about the game, To see somebody go down like that, you never wish that on nobody.
Brennan lay on the ground for less than 5 minutes, and early word unofficially diagnosed him with a grade 3 concussion. After the game, Hawaii's medical staff upgraded the Heisman hopeful to a mild concussion, a move that could lead to the senior being available next week against Nevada.
He's fine. You play football, you have concussions, but he's fine.
You're gonna have him for next game?
Yeah.
Everybody got over there and, took a knee, start praying, just making sure, you keep your spirit going. Everything is just be all good. And he's the leader on the team. We just want to make sure, he handle this, get through this concussion and whatnot. And hopefully he'll be ready by next week.
Late this afternoon, we got word from the athletic department that Colt's condition is listed as day-to-day, and he will be reevaluated as necessary. As for last night, the Warriors jumped out early and often in the first half, scoring on their first 5 possessions of the game. The only Fresno score to halt the Warriors' momentum in the first quarter, a 98-yard kickoff return by Al Jefferson that made it 21-7. Colt entered the game just 3 touchdown passes shy of surpassing Ty Detmer's NCAA mark of 121. He would finish the night tying that mark with 2 TD passes in the first half. Fresno would make a run, but it was not enough. The 37-30 win gives Hawaii 9 victories on the year. Up next for the Warriors, a road trip to Nevada next week, Friday. Improving to 9-0 last night, unfortunately, did very little to help the Warriors' national rankings. Here's how Hawaii stacked up this week. The BCS has the Warriors in the 16th spot, while in the AP, the Warriors went up a notch to 13, and in the coaches' poll, they stayed stagnant at 12.
It's the talk of the town. During the fourth quarter of the UH football team's 37-30 win over Fresno State last night, Warriors quarterback Colt Brennan got knocked by Bulldogs linebacker Marcus Riley. Near a sellout crowd at Aloha Stadium fell dead silent. Brennan laid motionless for a while, got quick attention from both teams' medical staffs, left the game, did not return.
I actually seen the hit, so I was, I knew that as soon as dude hit him and, Colt went down, I knew it wasn't good. And anybody see one of your family members go down like that, you forget about everything else. Your main goal is just, is he all right? For that split second, you don't even worry about the game, To see somebody go down like that, you never wish that on nobody, not even both sides of the ball.
I hope you're all having a pleasant evening. Moderate concussion, that's the word on Hawaii's Heisman hopeful today. Talk with Brennan this afternoon, doing fine, he says. Also says he does expect to play on the road Friday night versus Nevada. Of course, team doctors will have the final say on that. Before his exit, Colt threw for 396 yards and 2 touchdowns. This 67-yard scoring strike to Jason Rivers started a run that got to 21-0 in the first quarter, 34-16 at halftime. And Brennan tied 2 major records against the Bulldogs. This TD to Devon Best, 121st of his career, tying the all-time mark held by Ty Detmer of BYU. Colt also rushed for a score, tying another Detmer record, being responsible for a total of 135 touchdowns in his career.
He's the leader on the team. We just want to make sure, he handle this, get through this concussion and whatnot, and hopefully he'll be ready by next week, and let's get back rolling.
And as expected, Bulldogs Warriors last night, Hawaii's most physical matchup of the season. But they're still undefeated, 9-0, with Kansas as the only other unbeaten team in the country. But today's polls do not show a lot of love for UH. Here's the rankings. Warriors stayed at 12 in the coaches' vote. AP has Hawaii up 1 to 13th. UH stayed at 16th in the BCS rankings.
It feels great, when a lot of teams in the country are not pulling out the W's when they should, and we're doing it week in and week out. I think it says a lot about our team.
And dating back to last season, UH has won 10 in a row now, longest win streak in the country. Warriors, by the way, have never won in Reno. In the BCS poll, Hawaii got passed up by Clemson, Virginia, and USC. 2 Fridays from now, UH hosts Boise State. Broncos this week up 2 spots to 18th in the BCS rankings.